Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Beth, can you tell me my mic is working okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Great, thanks so much.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I see we have Jan, Bob, and I, so we have quorum. So I will open the meeting at 7 p.m. on May 9th, 2024, and I'm calling this meeting of the Shutesbury Conservation Commission to order. This meeting's being recorded. And Scott's going to join us, but I don't know what time exactly. He's traveling, so I'm hoping I'm hoping pretty soon. The first thing on the agenda is actually the minutes, and I was thinking again that basically those minutes from March and February, we don't have three people on our commission anymore who are at those meetings. So I feel like we can just vote on them with the people that we have.
Yeah,
As long.
sorry, but also Grace said that as long as people have read them, they can vote on them. Doesn't matter if they were there or not.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, usually when we have a set of minutes where like say somebody missed that meeting and we have quorum of people who were at the meeting,
Oh, I
then
see.
that person would abstain typically.
Yeah.
That's just the typical way to do it. But I think we're just in this weird situation where we literally don't have three people who were at the meeting. Even if Scott was here, it would just be me and him. We wouldn't have three people who were at like that meeting in February. So yeah, so good. I'm glad Grace said that. That's good to know. So let's look at those minutes. Do I have a motion for the March 28th, 2024 minutes? I'm assuming you guys took a quick look at them.
So the ones I sent out was just the sorry, April 25th.
Wait, the one, didn't you sent some very recently that you said we're voting on next week, which was our next meeting. I
Oh
thought
no,
that was,
it said in that email I sent out, that's April 25th, 2024. I sent it out really like 3, 4 o'clock, so I wasn't expecting like them to,
right,
if anyone didn't have time to read it, I totally understand. So I was saying if they weren't voted on tonight, then like they would be ready at least for next meeting.
right. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the March 28th
Yeah,
ones.
I didn't send those out.
Oh, they're on the agenda. And I
Yeah,
thought I
I put them on the agenda because that was my hope, but it didn't
okay,
get there,
so these aren't
unfortunately.
the ones that we've looked at. So we have none on here that
We
we've
have
all
April
reviewed.
25th.
Oh, so the ones that I haven't had a chance to read those. I
Yeah.
knew we weren't voting on those. I just thought some of the other ones that I had read some of the other ones, but
No, my hope was to have
your
our
hope
most
was.
recent one and then the last two that I haven't finished, but
Okay. Well, yeah, then let's move the April 25th ones to
okay.
the next
Okay.
meeting and we can vote on those then because they're finished. Um, so that's good. All right. Carrie, I have a question for you, just other business, I guess, is
Yeah.
did you reach out to the 678 Crack Corner folks?
About
Remember, so Mary and I did a site visit there, and they
okay.
had ended up wanting to take out some trees, and I had sent you an email. This is a bit ago, like maybe a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago, and asked because you were going to send um, information on submitting an RDA to.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I'm recalling now because I was also there was another gentleman who was looking for a different RDA one as well, and I think he believed to ask both of them. I did reach out to both of them with the information, the checklist, the form, and neither of them got back to me.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I thought that was weird that the 678 Pratt Corner people didn't
Yeah.
um end up doing anything because they seemed to be in a rush to get some trees taken down. So,
Mm.
hmm, okay. All right, good. Um, we did a site visit to 7 Baker Road, the farm there at the intersection of Pelham Hill Road and Baker Road. Bob was there and Scott was there. It was a great site visit. I thought it was a great site visit. That property has a conservation restriction on it, and they're new owners, and they are farming. They have quite a group of animals. And they mostly wanted to install some new water lines and fix some drainage that goes across the site. And it's not on the agenda or anything tonight. We need to kind of figure out with them what exactly they want to do and which of the work is exempt under the agricultural exemption, the Wetlands Protection Act, and then also I think Scott he looked at the conservation restriction and thought all the proposed work was all right under the conservation restriction. So it's more just, looking at the Wetlands Protection Act a bit. And I think they need to just more confirm exactly what they want to do. But I just wanted to report on that. Bob, do you have anything else you want to say about that site visit?
Yeah, I think you covered what I wanted to say is, part of our mandate is uh, uh, to protect the wetlands. We're not allowed to lose any wetlands or decrease any wetlands, but there are exemptions under the Agriculture Act that would allow them to drain those fields and potentially reduce the size of the wetlands. So that is kind of the key, is where things stand as far as the agricultural exemptions are concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So, I think I was saying that quite a bit is exempt, but I guess I'm not quite sure exactly what their plans are, like they need to come forward with more of a plan so we can very carefully look at it compared to the agricultural exemption um, stuff. And what else did I want to talk about? Well, Mary resigned. How about that? Probably should just talk about that. I mean, I think everybody knows. Because she was at the last meeting. So between the last meeting and now, she resigned. So we have 4 people, and we should have 5. And um, I've kind of checked in a little bit with Becky and saying, let's just hold off on, getting all into interviewing new people and stuff. I don't know who what's going on with who would be interested. Tom Seifert, I'd say he's on this call, might be interested. But I just want to at this point get our feet under us with having 2 new members. There's Tom. um, and it's just all been kind of crazy. So we'll we'll see how that goes going forward.
Yeah,
But
if I may, we are headed into vacation season, so it might be good to, at least start the process for filling that vacancy.
yeah, and it's tricky. Scott really he travels an awful lot. So he can end up missing some meetings. So yep. Yes, we'll move ahead with that. I will talk with Becky this week or next week about that. And what time is it? 7:09. I don't really have much else. Our first agenda item is at 7:15. I don't think we have any other site visits that we need to plan at this point. And unless those folks over at South Laurel Drive get back in touch with me, which she thought they would. So we might have that site visit next week, but yep. Anybody have anything else to want to talk about?
I do have a question. Are we still going ahead with a public hearing for the master fee schedule for next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
do have a draft legal ad that I will send out. And then I don't think it's perfect, but it's a start. And then I'm thinking we can edit it and then I could probably have it posted this next in a week, so next Thursday. So that way it'll be up for a week ahead before the meeting. So I need to submit it
Okay.
by Tuesday morning.
Okay. Do you usually submit all the legal ads at the same time? You know, if you have 2 or 3 of them for a meeting?
Yeah, like if a meeting has like 1 or 2 public hearings, then yeah, I usually put them out at the same time.
Yeah, because we may have the one for the amended order for 14 Lake
I
Drive
have
too.
those ready to go as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just to bring Jan and Bob up to speed on that. So, when we wrote the new regulations, we created a new fee schedule and we did vote on the new regulations, and, you know, approved that fee schedule, but then that fee schedule had to be looked at by the select board. And so we met with them and they made just one real change to it, not too significant. It was not, but they did make a change. So then it came back to the Concom for another review and we approved, I guess we voted on that change. And then let's see, I met with them. I guess I met with the select board. They wanted that change. I came back to the Concom. Concom thought the change was okay. Then it went back to the select board for a vote. So then they actually voted to approve that fee schedule. And now it's come to everybody's conclusion that, well, we also really should have a little public hearing about it because the regulations really need a public hearing. So even a relatively small change of just one section of the regulations, meaning the fee schedule, has to have a public hearing. So we're going to do that at our next meeting. But in a way, it's new to you guys anyway. You know, the rest of us have seen this changed fee schedule a couple times, but you guys haven't. So I guess it's good to be we'll be doing the public hearing. And then they will finally be all set to be used and we can start collecting fees again. Because we kind of took a break. Under our previous regulations, we really didn't have any significant fees. So this will be good.
I just wanted to say, I think that's a great idea to have a notice public hearing when you do regulations changes. It's I believe it's required by the bylaw and it really opens it up that everybody can see exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. Good to have public hearings and to advertise them. Yep. So we haven't started talking about it, but at 7:15, it's we've got our New England Power Company. We're just gonna look at the order of conditions. Problem is, I'm not sure Scott is going to be here by then. So let's see. Jan heard it last week. I heard it last week. Bob, you did not hear it last week. So I think I may be asking the applicant to kind of do a quick summary, really, but kind of represent almost the information, giving you a fair warning.
I've got all of my materials kind of set up, but I can share my screen and show you the maps of the project areas proposed and anything you'd like to see.
That's perfect. That's great. We've had a big changeover with our members, and it's
Seems
it's
like
hard
it.
yeah, it's doing a little catch up with all that. All right, my clock says 7:14.
Madam Chair, can I ask Carolyn what office she works out of?
Yeah, I am with the Ecological Division in BSC. So, I mean, technically I am based out of the Worcester office, but I live in Arlington, Massachusetts. So I'm closer as the crow flies to the Boston office, but it takes me about an hour and 15 minutes to take the bus to the train to get into the Boston office. So I'm here in my living room
Okay.
in
Great.
Arlington. So I'm very appreciative of the remote meetings. Not a lot of towns still do it. So it saves me a nostalgic drive out Route 2. As nice as that is.
I was gonna say, you're missing out.
Did it for many years going back and forth to UMass Amherst, my
Hmm.
alma mater.
Oh, good. Yep. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that most towns are now doing in person. Are most towns doing hybrid? Like they're doing it in person and they're also, filming it, I
It's like
guess?
half and half these days. It really depends on the town. I'd say half of them offer the hybrid
Okay.
option. And if they are doing it remotely like this, some of them are meeting in person in a town hall and
Mhm.
recording.
Yeah. Bob, what are you doing in your towns?
We do remote meetings for the Conservation Commission, and it is well enjoyed by both commissioners and staff. So, um, I'm also glad that Shutesbury does it this way as well.
Yeah, I find that the public appreciates it really. They can be at home and come to more meetings than they probably would if they had to go to town hall. But all right, it's 7:16. So we are looking again at the E5 F is it E5 F6
That's
or E5?
correct.
Yeah, E5
E5.
F6 transmission line notice of intent with New England Power Company to do some exploratory borings near two transmission structures. And as I said, unfortunately, it'd be great if you could kind of represent the project a bit. So Bob would be able to vote on we did, we closed the public hearing at the last meeting and we're just gonna do the order of conditions tonight. But again, with our current situation, I think we just need to review a little bit.
That's fine. I can give a quick update for you based on so this is a geotechnical soil boring program to basically look at the existing conditions subsurface for the maintenance of future structures along the E5 F6 line. And so for this particular town, we've got soil borings at structure 443 located off of Pratt Corner Road and structure 436 located off of Sand Hill Road. All of these project activities, just the soil borings and access and placement of wetland matting to access these locations will be done within the existing managed right of way. Let's see what we're looking at right now. This looks like access to structure B for boring 443. You can see the soil boring itself is located. This yellow shaded square is the approximate work area. It's a conservative estimate of the space that the crews are going to need to get the drilling rig in there and to put their equipment around. So we have wetland matting shown along the access route and in the work pad envelope where we will be protecting these wetlands while the soil boring is accomplished. And these borings are typically I believe it was 2 inches in diameter. Completed with a small drill rig. They'll be going down, drilling down to a sufficient sufficient depth to analyze what these subsurface conditions are. Right now, no work is being done to replace or work at these full structures, but that is being planned for in the future, which is why these borings are taking place. There's a lot going on in this map right now, but I believe this boring in particular is within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. It has some temporary impacts through wetland matting to the wetlands themselves. It's within natural heritage and endangered species priority and estimated habitat. 200-foot riverfront area to this perennial stream, and the 50-foot no disturb zone regulated by the town. Let's see if I can get the location of the other one. This is the other boring location at structure 436 off of, see, 436 is located off of Sand Hill Road. Best management practices, including sediment and erosion controls, will be implemented during construction. So if there's any soil disturbance, it's very minimal soil disturbance typically when they do the actual drilling. But if they're anticipating any soil disturbance, they will be placing erosion controls between the work and the wetland resource areas.
Carolyn, I know that there's an exemption on the Wetlands Protection Act for borings of this nature. Are did you have to file with natural heritage related to the endangered species?
So I don't have that language pulled up right now, but we do, the utility companies have an arrangement with, was it DEP? That there is a document that has best management practices for avoiding and minimizing damage to endangered species. And so we have requested the data for that area, and National Grid will be following the BMPs agreed upon in the I can't remember the name of that document, but there is a working agreement between Natural Heritage, DEP, and the utility companies to have BMPs for working in natural heritage areas.
Great, thank you.
So we didn't have to file any additional paperwork with them.
Thank you.
It's a good question, though.
Yeah, I just saw it in your NOI. It's just an established operation and maintenance plan with
That's what it's called.
Grid,
Yes.
National Grid, Natural Heritage, and DEP.
Thank you, Beth.
Sure.
Madam Chair, are you looking for a motion?
If are there any more questions on Carolyn's quick summary? No? Okay, so we closed the public hearing actually at the last meeting. We're just still gathering a little info here, just getting a review, maybe we'll call it that. So now what I wanted to do is bring up the special conditions that I put together. We can take a look at those. Carolyn can also take a look, and then move on from there. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so these are the special conditions. Summary of the project. Right, so it's been determined that the project is exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act regulations based on the section of the regulations. In addition, the applicant's planning to perform work in accordance, this is what you were just talking about. It's the Endangered Species Act, exempt review or operation and maintenance that are part of an operation and maintenance plan approved by Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and performed under the established operation and maintenance plan. So you're exempt really from the natural heritage requirements. The commission finds that the following resource areas under the Shutesbury Wetlands Protection Bylaw exist. Bank, land under water bodies and waterways, that's for the streams. BBW was identified, riverfront for Nurse Brook and the buffer zone or aura. Outstanding resource water, I believe it's mapped within that, and natural heritage priority and estimated habitat. Applicant proposes to drill 2 soil borings. One boring is adjacent to this structure, another. Yeah, so access routes to the borings that cross BPW will use temporary matting to protect the wetlands. Temporary resource impacts include 4,831 square feet to BBW and 3 square feet to riverfront from temporary matting and drilling activity. Work within the ORA will include the work at the drill site, including temporary storage of cuttings. Work will follow the notice of intent. There was not a separate plan set, so the mapping was all part of the notice of intent. And then these are just our general findings that are in all of our orders of conditions. And then these are all our general conditions. We may enter the site. Yeah, general conditions. And so then we always bold the ones that we really want applicants to take note of. Prior to the start of work, no later than 30 days from the issuance of the order, the commission shall receive in writing a letter with an original signature from the applicant stating they've read the order of conditions and understand the conditions. And also within 30 days of the issuance of the order, before any work commences, the applicant should provide the commission with proof of recording at the Franklin County Registry of Deeds.
Question on number 9.
Yep.
Would an email suffice, or do you require a hard copy with the original signature?
Yeah, I think we want something with the signature. So I don't know if an email would really work there. 'Cause it
Okay.
doesn't have a signature.
No later than 30 days from the issuance of the order. Okay. We
Yep.
will do that.
Okay. Prior to the commencement, the approved matting and erosion control should be installed. After the installation, contact the Conservation Commission for a pre-construction site visit. So in addition to erosion control, we might as well just take a look at where the matting gets placed, just to make sure that the BBW is all covered before you guys get out there with your drill rig.
Yep.
And then notify the commission 48 hours before commencing work. And then the rest of this is typical erosion controls. Erosion controls need to be maintained. Stockpile erosion controls. Typical order of conditions.
Usually typical stuff that National Grid does anyway, so it works out.
Yeah, it's at this point, I think so many groups have seen these same lists of conditions, that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, but
All the towns are sharing the good special conditions between each other.
yeah, the DEP's got them too. The last one that's bold is erosion control devices shall remain in place and properly functioning until all exposed soils have been stabilized with final vegetative cover, and the Conservation Commission has authorized their removal. Once removal is authorized, erosion control should be removed within 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right. So do any of the commissioners or the applicant have any questions on the order of conditions or the special conditions? I guess for Bob and Jan's information. So these are the special conditions. And then what I do is I electronically submit to DEP, the order of conditions with this attached. And then under our bylaw, we actually have our own order of conditions form that's very similar to the DEP's order of condition form that we also fill out. And these special conditions get attached to that too. And we do have 21 days to get that back to you, Carolyn, but I usually expect them, I try to get them out by the next week. So by next Tuesday or so, when our land clerk's in the office and she can mail them out, that's kind of my goal, next Tuesday, Thursday-ish.
If you can also at the same time send us a scanned copy of this order of conditions when it's ready. We always love having that electronic version so we can have it sent to legal for review, and sometimes we can electronically record them as well.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Carrie, but that's usually what she does, the land clerk. I think she sends an email with the scanned version at the same time that she's mailing out the hard copy.
Wonderful.
Great. All right then.
Oh, I just noticed the applicant, it's Michael Tyrell. There's no I in his last name.
Oh, okay. Good catch.
And there's 2 L's though. So Tyrrell.
That's what it was supposed to be. And there's 2 R's.
Yes, there are. I've misspelled it one time and he corrected me and I will never forget again.
And you said, yes, there are, which is kind of funny
There
because it's
are.
bars.
He was a pirate in a past life.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for kind of representing the project. And I hope that it all goes well. I hope it's a great little project.
Thank you. We'll be in touch and thank you for all your time.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna, I guess I'll stop sharing. Although I'll just have to share again later. Oh, shoot. Um, I just totally blanked on, well, it's okay that she's not there. We need a motion to approve the order of conditions.
I'd like to move that we approve the order of conditions, including the special conditions as drafted.
Second?
Second.
All right. Douglas,
Aye.
Rowan,
Aye.
Wilson, aye. Great. Time is it? All right, 7:30. Scott is still not here. Where's Scott? Scott is on an airplane probably. All right, so our next agenda item, 7:30, is 5759 Shore Drive, amended order of condition request for Donna and Gary West, DEP file 2860300. Yes. And Jeff, you're here?
I am here, yes. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Yeah, my understanding was that this had been reviewed and approved at the last meeting, so this was mostly just to go over the order of conditions or the amended order. But yeah, I think in speaking with Doug this afternoon, and I think he had some correspondence with you that, yeah, that in terms of the impact numbers described in the, in the original order, haven't changed at all. Yeah, I think, it's really kind of a formality in some ways, but just a slightly different footprint, but the same project overall.
Yeah, so we have a little issue that Scott isn't here. So at our last meeting where it was more presented, Jan was there, I was there, Scott was there, but Bob was not there. So like our previous one, if I know you were driving in a car, can you share any plans or
Oh, sure.
anything?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you mind giving just a quick summary of the changes?
Absolutely. All right. So hopefully you can see this, Bob. So what you see here, obviously the property line outlined in bold. What was previously proposed as a footprint is shown in sort of light orange underneath. And just for various personal and family reasons, they've had to slightly downsize what they were intending to do. And so now we're looking at what you see in blue, really without the garage. It mostly has to do with no second floor and some reduced square footage area inside the house. But in terms of its proximity to the edge of bank and floodplain, all of those types of things, stormwater, none of that has changed. It's really just a subtle adjustment to the footprint. And so, yeah, I think as I was confirming with Beth, all the numbers that were originally presented in the original order and are still valid. So nothing really is substantially changed in respect to the project overall.
Great, thank you. Bob, questions?
Yeah, so the rectangle that was likely a garage, that would just be a paved area?
Yeah, I think it's going to be gravel for now. They're just looking at a pea stone driveway, so that would just be an additional, parking space.
All right. If Bob's got no more questions, that's great. You can stop sharing,
Okay, great.
and I will share the draft order conditions. If I can get to it. All right. All right, this is draft special conditions for amended order of conditions for 5759 Shore Drive. So it's amended, so it's going to still have the same date as the original order of conditions. And what we've added is just information about the changes. The applicant's proposed changes to the project since the original order of conditions. Project changes include changing the layout and footprint of the house, including removal of the garage, storage room, and retaining wall on the north end of the building, and addition of a raised deck on piers at the southwest corner of the building. These changes decrease the overall footprint of the house. The former garage area will now be part of the gravel driveway. There are no changes to the approved stormwater management plan or planting plan for the site. There are no additional impacts to resource areas, including the aura from the project changes. And then all amended portions of these special conditions are in bold. So, besides that addition, the order is the same as the original order. Until we get to, I think we just added in the new set of plans. So it's the notice of intent plans dated April 10th, 2024, with the changes. I don't think anything else is getting changed for these order conditions. Yeah, no. Just think if there's anything I should point out to Bob and Jan.
Previously approved, there have been some revisions since that approval, but it's shrunk in size, is that correct?
The footprint of the building?
Right, so I'm just trying to make sure understand where we are in the process. This had been previously presented to the commission and the meeting closed, is that correct?
So there was an original order of conditions that was all approved, and this is an amendment. They came
An
forward with
amendment.
these changes. Yeah, so they're trying to amend this order of conditions. And they, they came to last meeting and presented the changes for the amendment. And then they had actually come to the meeting before that to determine if the whole new NOI was required or just an amendment, and we voted that an amendment would be okay. And then they came forward with these changes. So yeah, this is an amendment. So you basically take that original order and just add to it. So all the conditions of the original order are still intact. The date doesn't even change from when it's issued. You still have the 3 years from the original issuing of the order.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And because it's shrunk in size, it's less impactful than what had previously been approved.
Right, yeah, and if say they had actually changed like the square footage of impact to BVW or something, that would get recorded in the new order, but based on the small changes that they're making, there actually is no real change in square footage of impact to the aura or to boarding lab subject to flooding is on this site. So yeah, the only special condition I thought that's sort of interesting is this one about chapter 91, which is something that we end up putting on a lot of projects that are by the lake and people are using docks because they have to get their docks they have to go through permitting under chapter 91, so sometimes we add that as a condition. Not,
Mhm.
just that they apply and then they let us know. So, yeah, so that's about it. Jeff, do you have any concerns about the order, the additions
No.
to the amended order? Okay,
No, I think it's all pretty, yeah, straightforward.
okay, great. Do I have a motion to issue the amended order of conditions?
I'd like to recommend that we approve the amended order of conditions as viewed tonight.
Second?
A
Tina?
second.
Okay, Rowan,
Aye.
Douglas,
Aye.
Wilson, aye. All right, great. I should be able to get this all together and get it out to you some point next week, Jeff.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay. No texts from Scott. So his plane got delayed. Because his plan was he was gonna get on the plane and then he was gonna land actually in Hartford or whatever and be able to then Zoom like in his car or something. But then I don't know where he was flying from, but so a little while ago, an hour ago or so, he texted and said that his flight was delayed. All this. Can't
Well, for
thank
what it's worth, I spoke with Chris Chamberlain from our office a little while ago, and he said his flight got canceled entirely from Atlanta. So yes,
Ah. And did you make it to the Cape?
I did. Yes, yes,
Good job.
yes. Nice not to have traffic on a Thursday.
Yeah, it's good day to drive down there.
Yes.
Oh, we got 3 minutes. So we'll just wait it out. Actually, I guess now we don't need Scott anyway. We needed him for the other two. Now he can come and really wouldn't matter. Bob, are you at your lake house or are you at your,
I am. Yep. I'm in beautiful Shutesbury, Massachusetts.
nice?
And Madam Chair, I think it's okay that I bring this up now. That I do live in on the same street as the McCallums. I remember nodding to Donna during COVID as I walked by. But I don't see any conflict of interest in that. Just for the record, and I will submit the required paperwork for that. Additionally, I have worked with the builder John before. Again, I don't see any conflict of interest related to this particular project.
Thank you for getting that on the record. That's good. All right, so it's 7:45. So we've got on our agenda 14 Lake Drive. It's a request for amended order of condition. Donna and Andrew McCollum replacing a failing steel drain pipe to prevent catastrophic failure and to resume construction. It's on the agenda. So Jeff.
Yeah, or
Great. Yeah, so again, Jeff Squire from the Berkshire Design Group here on behalf of Andrew and Donna. Chris Chamberlain, as I noted, is out. He was managing this project from our office, but here on his behalf tonight. So yeah, I think I'll let Andrew and Donna speak if they want, but I think generally we're just seeking an amended order of conditions due to the discovery of a drain pipe that wasn't in the location that we anticipated based on the existing conditions plan. I'm happy to share Just bring these up. So it was originally, so just to orient you, Lake Drive is on the bottom of the page here. Lake Wyola bounds the property on the top. There's a culvert that ran underneath Lake Drive. There's an outlet that's clearly visible in Lake Wyola. There's a section of plastic pipe that sticks out into the lake. So it was presumed that, you know, you connect point A to point B, and that's where the pipe was. And unbeknownst to everybody was that it came under the road and then did something different, because as they were digging for the new foundation in this location, discovered the pipe and sort of severed the existing pipe that had run to Lake Wyola, which was an old steel smooth walled pipe that had crushed and rusted over the years. But it had, you know, somehow been routed through the property and reconnected to the lake. And so it sort of halted construction due to, you know, obviously that condition. And so what we're seeking to do as part of this amended order is essentially reconnect where it joins at the road, replace it to a point. And I'm happy to, you know, we engage in a discussion about either connecting it to its current location or daylighting it. I know there were some initial concerns with daylighting due to the adjacent septic system and Title V regulations. But one of the discoveries we've had in the last several weeks is that this is in fact a tight tank. It's not a leach field. So, you know, open surface water is a little bit less of a concern adjacent to that septic element. Yeah, Andrew or Donna, I don't know whether you have anything to add, but I think, yeah, we had a site visit today and had a great discussion. And so happy to answer any questions or thoughts or, yeah.
I could say a few brief things and then turn back to you, Jeff, or to the
Great.
commissioners. First, I want to thank the commissioners for your time in the site visit today. Our original request included 2 candidate amendments. And as Jeff just said, now that we understand that the neighbors have a tight tank, then I think what we are proposing is to follow the second of the 2 plans described that indeed sends the water to daylight. And those plans are also detailed on page 3 of the amended order of condition plans shown here. And I'm happy to turn over to the commissioners for any questions.
Yeah, actually, Jeff, would you mind, we could zoom in a little on this and maybe you could just talk a little bit about the design for the daylighted section?
Yeah, so I think, where do we go here? So why does this keep doing this? So I think one of the nice discoveries of doing this property survey was finding out that the existing outlet, that outlets in this short precast section of or a section of concrete wall is not actually the defining property boundary. It actually extends, you know, 14 feet beyond that. There's a dry stacked stone wall just beyond that concrete wall. And I think it was originally conceived just by the way the vegetation is set up that was the property boundary. So we were pretty limited as to what we could do. And there was concern about the integrity of that concrete wall. So one of the, you know, again, nice discoveries is that the property corner is actually beyond that concrete portion. And so it does provide some ability to regrade without, you know, a lot of work at the bank. There's a couple of courses of stone that we would remove and then regrade. There's a large black birch that's leaning in this location. Actually, it's right here. That leans, you know, at a pretty good angle toward the lake, but it's withstood the last several years, and you know is one of the few shade trees in the area, and we'd really like to protect it. So you know, I think in the site visit today, the idea was that we would try to locate the end of that culvert section as close to the tree or as adjacent to the tree as we could without jeopardizing its root system and the sort of integrity of it, but then create a swale that meandered down to the lake in a very naturalized way. I acknowledge that this was drawn by my coworker who is a civil engineer, so it looks a little bit more like a civil engineer would draw it, but we did one very similar to this at Donna and Gary's house across the lake that we were just looking at. So it'd be really to, remove, there's a number of invasive species. There's some multiflora rose and honeysuckle that sort of comprise this hedgerow. So as part of that, remove those and replant this with a, with a restoration planting that was more appropriate and fitting for its location. So, mountain laurel and winterberry and potentially some holly, something to still provide some privacy, but also, really be an asset to the landscape, and give stormwater opportunity to daylight before it gets discharged directly to Lake Wyola. So
you're saying it would actually be a little longer than what's shown in this?
yeah, I think we would try to extend it as far as we could, as close to the tree as within reason. I think, everybody really wants to save this tree. So this would be some very careful excavation to understand where that existing pipe culvert ends, and how to daylight that in a way that produced the least impact to the tree. And so, yeah, it would be in this approximate location. It's tough to say exactly.
Yeah, that's good. And as much as you were saying it's engineered, I think it's good that it's got quite a bit of rock and boulders. I mean, I would certainly want it to be planted and vegetated too, but I think it's gonna
Right.
have to have some beef to it because
Yeah.
it's gonna take some water coming out of there, something to dissipate the energy of the water. But I think that's a great proposal. It'll certainly be an improvement, in the end. It's actually surprising that you didn't get sort of sinkholes in your yard, because it doesn't seem like that pipe was probably carrying much of the water. The water was probably leaking out of the pipe all over the place.
I think it was leaking into our basement.
Yeah, so it was getting into the soil and getting into your basement. Yeah. Yep. All right. So other commissioners, you guys have questions at all?
I do. How different would the how different would the design be from what you've presented now, Jeff?
I mean, what I would,
Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I guess I would say, I mean, I think it's just very much as shown with just asking the commission for the leeway to determine the length of the swale as determined on site when we're looking at the root of the tree system. But other than that, I think this represents exactly what you'd like, and it's also described in the text of the letter sent, the first 3 paragraphs after alternative analysis and the letter that we sent.
That's helpful. Is the 12-inch pipe in the same location as it would be as it follows your property boundary, further closer to the road?
I think it is our best estimation that that's where it is. Yeah, I think ultimately, just because of the experience of where we encountered it further into the site, we would certainly investigate exactly where it crosses the road, where it comes out on this end, and chase it from there. But I think this is as good a guess as any at this point.
Good. That's helpful. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And
Considered any kind of sediment trap that you can use to maintain the swale into the future?
I mean, I think part of the idea with the stone-filled, swale and the daylighting is that would serve as a sediment trap. That's where we would anticipate sediment to fall out and dissipate rather than getting, before it reached the lake, as opposed to a separate forebay somewhere else, I guess is what you're asking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the challenge is just how far back into the site we have to regrade and, the type of stormwater system that we're creating. We
it's
could
just that the
certainly put
neighbor
in,
indicated that you should expect an awful lot of sedimentation
Sure.
in time, and that means you'll have to be able to clean it out, and you don't have a lot of access to do that,
Mhm.
with machinery.
Right. So one thing we could certainly do is that, asking about changes, but I think, we'd often soften the edges of this swale a little bit to be a little bit more naturalized. But I think one thing that we could certainly do is, directly after the outlet of the pipe is create a small depression and just use some of the stone that we're filling, the larger stones to create sort of a sediment trap before it meanders down to the lake. But that's something that we could certainly do as a function of the design.
Yeah, I think that might be something to include.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so tonight we're just really voting on to whether we think it needs to be a notice of intent or an amended order of conditions. So if we go with the amended, then there's going to have to be a public hearing, which would be at our next meeting. So Jeff or Chris will have an opportunity to kind of revamp these plans according to kind of what Jeff was just talking about and present it to us again at the next hearing, just so Jan and Bob know how that would go.
Mhm.
So I guess to Jan, Bob, do you guys have any questions in terms of determining whether you feel like this is a new notice of intent or an amended order? Bob?
Yeah, I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense to do it as an amendment. This has been in front of the commission, and I think they've rebounded very well from a horrible situation to find a pipe right at the corner of where their new building will go, and have done a very well crafted plan to cope with that. So my recommendation would be that we continue to handle it as a amendment.
Yeah, me too. Jeff, anything else to present or?
No, I guess I would ask one question just again, it's purely to help them, keep the project moving just because this has stalled things for a little bit longer than they anticipated, for everybody's standpoint. Understanding that there is an existing order of conditions and that, it seems like the majority of the clarification is going to entail, how the end of the outlet is treated. Is there do you see any issue with them proceeding with, construction of the house and foundation, knowing that this pipe section is going to be replaced and that, we will finalize plans for the outlet and, how that discharge is dealt with. Again, just understanding that this was all originally part of the original order.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. You've basically continuing construction sort of under the existing order, with all of the things having to do with the pipe sort of being dealt with, at the same time to create an amended order.
Yep.
Jan and Bob, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I concur. Jeff, and Andrew, you're currently handling the stormwater now, correct? And you would be able to continue to handle that throughout the construction that you're doing, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to environmental sense to continue with the project.
Yeah, I think so too. You've got that big hole there.
Right.
It's just
Obviously, the goal is to,
collecting
to
rain.
revegetate it and stabilize it as soon as possible.
Right, right. All right, so I guess I'm looking for a motion to make the decision that a notice of intent is not necessary and that we are requesting an amended order.
I would like to make that a motion.
All right, second,
I second.
great. Douglas,
Yes.
Rowan,
Aye.
and Wilson, aye. All right, so you guys will be on our agenda for May 23rd.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for your care and attention.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks for the site visit today. It was great.
Good day for it.
Great to have you.
Was.
We had good weather for it. Yeah. And I appreciated your attention and to it all and your time.
We appreciate you taking care of this pipe and kind of doing the right thing. I think it's great.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right,
All
have a
right.
good
Good night,
night.
everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you
have a
all.
good
Yeah,
night.
thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops. All right. I have no unanticipated business. Does anybody else have anything?
Nope.
No. Carrie, you have anything?
No, I do not.
Great. All right, then, oh, Bob?
Yeah, I was interested in with the conservation trust that I work with and the commission that I work with. We do hikes, and it's often a good way to meet different people in town and show off the wonderful conservation property. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to put that on the table of something to think about for this
I
year.
think that'd be great. Do you want to organize them?
I have found 2 locations that sound good, and I'll try and flesh that out for our next meeting.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. All these, there's so many special things commissions can do, and it's just, I guess having each commissioner kind of take on some, tasks is the way I'm finding that would be good to do it. That sounds great. I would love to do that. I'm sure people would, people who live in Shutesbury, if they heard about it, would want to come.
Cool.
All right, motion to adjourn. Oh, Tom Seifert?
Thank you. Sorry for the last minute thing. Could I just ask you, please, is the public allowed to go to a site visit? I heard you're going to have one on South Laurel Drive, or to find out when or where it would be, or when. I live on South Laurel Drive, so I thought I might be interested. Or is it not? That
I
is
think
shared?
public is allowed. I think public members are allowed to come on site visits. It's a good question. Bob, do you know? Do you usually?
Yeah, uh generally yes. The property owner can exclude a person from coming onto a property. And if it's a publicly noticed meeting, in addition to being a site visit, any deliberation has to take place in a public place like a roadside or something like that.
Okay. So yeah, so Tom, I think I have your email, so I can let you
great.
know.
Thank you. I was going to
Yeah.
ask how I might contact somebody. I appreciate that if you can, Beth. Thanks.
Yeah, and it
That's all.
might be next week. I'm not sure. The property owner had some stuff come up, so
Okay.
so she just is delaying it, and I don't really know for how long she's gonna want to delay it, but I'll keep you in the loop.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Carrie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, my only thing was I know in the NOI packet there's like a site access authorization form that usually the property owners give. So I don't know if it had to be something similar with a member of the public. I mean, I'm assuming the property owner would probably have to provide some kind of like consent of some fashion.
Yeah, I think when I reach out to her, I can, mention that a member of the public would like to attend and see if she cares at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a good way to go. Okay. All right, let's try again. Motion to adjourn. Oh, Bob.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Seconded?
Great. Douglas,
Aye.
Rowan,
Aye.
and Wilson. Aye. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
All right. You
Good
too.
night.
Good night.